European Racing Organization's Season 10 is well and truly coming, and with it, we're having major regulation changes. The rules have been completely changed to improve the racing, organization or stewarding process. And starting today, we'll guide you through every chapter of racing regulations to help you understand how they are going to be applied since Season 10 onwards. Today, we'll be having a look at the essence of Formula 1 or ERO in general, racing. Of course, if you are interested in joining European Racing Organization for Season 10, the link to our Discord server is in the description. Now, what is the most important part in league racing or any sort of racing in general to make it enjoyable and actually clean? It is to avoid contact at any cost. As rule, R3.1 says that drivers are required to prevent any contact from occurring at all times. Drivers causing collisions may be penalized for the actions, regardless of earlier or later circumstances. Race start and race restart are not considered as a mitigating factor. This is the rule we've introduced in early Season 7, I believe, due to the fact that there were plenty of collisions on the beginning stages of the race or safety car restart, and not only the stewards, but also the drivers have plenty of time said, well, it's lap 1, we cannot really do anything. Now, what are the factors that will decide what kind of penalty is going to be applied? We know this can be a penalty of any kind, starting from 3 seconds to an actual race ban, or from 1 penalty point to 10 penalty points, for example. However, there are 4 factors that the stewards take care of when reviewing the collision. And these are how severe the collision was, how much the penalized driver was at fault, mitigating factors if there are any, and possible actions that drivers could have taken to avoid the collision. What about approaching the braking zone? R3.2 specifies it quite well that drivers are not allowed to move in the braking zone before reaching the turn-in point. Of course, we are not going to really look on that if you are basically driving by yourself and the gap to the closest opponent behind you is like 5 seconds. It will not influence a single thing. But if it causes the driver behind you to react accordingly and not go naturally throughout the corner, then you may expect some sort of penalty, and this is 1 license point. Worse if you cause the collision by that. It is not only the normal collision penalty as SR 3.1, but also 2 additional license points. There's also a dedicated rule to behavior of the driver on the straight while racing. SR 3.3 says that drivers are allowed to make 1 defensive move on the straight and 1 more to return to the original racing line. But they have to ensure it is safe and it will not be a reason of potential collision. It must be made at a distance big enough for the other driver to react accordingly and basically not be scared. If you weave or block the other driver on the straight multiple times, you are being given 1 license point. But if you also cause a collision, same as moving in the braking zone. It is normal collision penalty, SR 3.1, but also 2 license points. There may also be situations where, for example, you have just been spun around and you need to rejoin the track somewhat. But remember to do it safe, because if you are joining the track, you need to ensure it is safe to do so, and basically you'll not make any single collision. And if there is a return route, an example being the last chicane of Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, you need to use it. If you fail, you're getting 5-second time penalty and 2 license points. Worse if you cause a collision, because it also adds additional normal collision penalty. We also are aware of drivers loving mind games, but we need to make sure one of them is actually safe. As it says in R3.5, it is not allowed to drive in dangerous or unsporting manner in order to gain the use of DRS. You cannot just violently decelerate the car or change the line just to make sure the driver behind you is getting ahead of you before the DRS detection zone. If you do so, it's 1 license point added to your tally, but if you also cause a collision, it's a normal collision penalty and 2 license points. We also know that drivers love to send it down the inside into basically any heavy braking corner, but you need to make sure it is safe and it will not cause any collision. It must be safe, not desperate. As 3.6 says, that dangerous or aggressive overtakes, commonly known as dive bombs, requiring a defending driver to take evasive action, are strictly forbidden. Don't scare the other driver in front. If you do so, it's a 5-second time penalty and 3 license points. And of course, probably the most straightforward one, you cannot just intentionally crash into each other. If you do so, it's a ban from the league. Simple as that. That is all about racing regulations regarding actually racing. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in ER racing, the link to our Discord server is in the description. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow on Track Limits Regulations.